Hello and welcome, folks, to another episode of the Scrum Call. This is episode 5. In the previous episode, we spoke about the 4 agile values. We understood that out of these 4 values, there's nothing which is less important. There are certain things that we need to focus a little more on. In this episode, we will be talking about the 12 principles of agile on which this methodology supports itself. Jumping right in, let me also say that we do not have any blockers as of now. The first principle is our highest priority is to satisfy the customer with continuous and early delivery of valuable software. Now pay attention, there are some keywords. Satisfy the customer, early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Now that's really important. Valuable software. What is valuable software? When we are delivering software in an iterative model, meaning every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or every month, we are delivering some piece of software that actually works and addresses a customer's requirement, it has to be of certain value to that customer. If the customer wants to make sure that the software addresses their security, which is one of the biggest concerns today, instead you give them some very simple kind of a functionality which is not immediately needed. The customer may not be even that interested in what you're going to do next. You have to keep in mind what is it that the customer values the most. So think of that, prioritize accordingly basically. Next, welcome changing requirements even late in the development. Agile process harnesses change for a customer's competitive advantage. Keep in mind, guys, today we are in a world where things move very fast. Technology moves very quickly. Every year we have a new phone that surpasses the previous one in leaps and bounds in some categories. In such a scenario, you barely have 12 months to be ready, sometimes even less than that, to be ready and beat your competition. In such a way, if you are not keeping a tab on the change and if you are not welcoming change, no matter where it comes in your development, you can never guarantee a competitive advantage. So ensuring that you're open to change is one of the keystones of being agile. Third principle, deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter time scale. Now this one directly talks about how often do you want to iterate. Typically 2 weeks to a month's time is what is recommended. But again, purely depends on the work you're doing, the team's comfort, several other factors. But the idea is you have a time box duration of time within which you churn out software. So it has to be within that time frame and not be flexible that, okay, we'll do 1.5 weeks this time, 1 week next time. No. Fix a time, stick to it and deliver. Next one. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Now, this again goes back to one of the values, right? Where it spoke about collaborating with the customer rather than getting mixed up in contract negotiations and whatnot. Yes, it is important to understand and have proper terms of contract, but it is even more important to have your customer as part of your team, who is giving you feedback, who is receiving the processed or the completed software at the end and then providing you with inputs so that you can course correct along the way rather than wait months and then deliver a software and then work on the feedback and then it's not very competitive, right? So that's what this principle talks about. Moving on, build projects around motivated individuals. Give them an environment and support that they need. Trust them to get the job done. This talks about the team that is working on that particular software. See guys, it's really important that you put in that time and effort to build a proper team first that is skilled for the job that needs to be delivered. Just because someone is available, you just take them at random may not always be the best decisions. You have to put in some thought on the team you take. But even beyond that, remembering that your team is made up of people first. They are not machines, you can't overwork them. All said and done, I know realistically what actually happens. I'm from the same industry. But time and time again, I always try to remind myself that, these are people who need to be trusted. They need to trust you, and they need to be given that much amount of freedom of empowerment to be able to decide how to solve this problem at hand. Many times, developers may have this feeling that it's just a job. I just need to write this code, get it done with. For some people, that's the reality for them. But I think a team becomes more productive. A team becomes focused on the outcome only when they realize that it is not a line of code that they're writing. It is a problem that they are solving. Writing code is part of solving that problem. But the reason they are there to write all those lines of code is because there is something that needs to be taken care of. And I think that is what this particular principle talks about. Moving on to the next. Most effective and efficient method of conveying information to and within a team is face-to-face interaction. Goes back to one of the values we spoke of, where individuals and interactions is preferred over processes and tools. Think about it. Face-to-face interactions is the most effective because there is absolutely direct communication and feedback, right? There might be a mail that may be needed to follow it up or just keep it on record, but face-to-face communication is the best. It makes things really easy, simple, straightforward. You can get right to it. And that is where Agile says open and transparent communication is key. And this principle talks about just that. Next up, working software is the primary measure of progress. This is one of my favorite principles. Working software is your primary measure of progress. Going back to one of the earlier principles where I said that you are not writing code because it's your job, you're solving a problem here because that is what you're actually here for. You are solving problems. You're addressing a need that exists. You're removing pain points. And the way that we can say we are making progress, we can make all kinds of charts and graphs, and usually leadership is very finicky about such things. But guys, all those graphs and charts will be of no use if your software breaks when it goes into production. Just tell me all those fancy graphs is not going to be holding any kind of witness to your code just falling apart when it goes on production, when a bunch of users log in. The last thing you want is for a lot of users, say 1,000, 2,000 users, unable to even log into your page because it's not loading. I'm sure there'll be quite a few of the listeners and viewers who might be thinking of their time when something like that happens, right? So if your software doesn't work, there's no point. If your software works at every iteration, you truly are making progress. That's what this principle talks about. Next one. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. Basically, what this principle, the way I understand this principle is that the Agile team should be, going back to one of the points I said, where the team is made up of people, right? So maintain a cadence of, the process of Agile, all the Scrum ceremonies, when do you plan a release, when you want to do, when you want to involve the business to come into a quick UAT, those kind of things. There has to be a cadence kept in mind of the team's capacity and the team's availability, right? Having a lot of processes tightly in place might be difficult and very taxing on the team. It has to be paced out in a certain way. It has to be planned out in a certain way that the team is not overwhelmed. because apart from the usual scrum ceremonies, you also have a lot of work to be done. If you have heavy dependency on external teams, now you have to have meetings with those teams. You're not developing anything during that time, but you're discussing a lot of things, and then you come back and you do your coding. So there's a lot of things that happen. Keep in mind all of those things. Pace it out properly. A scrum master and a product manager or a product owner need to be in proper sync along with the business and the team on ensuring that the team is not overwhelmed with a lot of things moving around and happening. So that is what this particular principle talks about. Pace it out such that the team is able to have a proper agile process set in place that they are comfortable with moving indefinitely. Next one, continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. So think about it. Continuous attention, right, to technical excellence and good design. What does these things mean? It basically talks about best practices, right? Don't lose sight of what are the best practices to be followed as per industry. Just doing some job for the heck of it will not help you. You'll build up on tech debt. When are you going to address those, right? That's the last thing you want. So while we talk about building quickly, moving forward real quick, we also talk about ensuring we keep our best practices in mind, industry standards in mind, and proceed. Now comes another tricky one. Simplicity. The art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. It sounds a little confusing, right? Maximizing the amount of work not done. Now, a lot of people get confused. In the beginning, even I used to wonder that what does that even mean? Like, should we not do a lot of work? Should we do less work? It's very simple, guys. The Scrum Master and the Product Manager need to be in proper sync over here. The idea here is not to try and do a lot of work in one go. Prioritize, plan, and decide what is the most valuable bits of work that needs to be taken up, keeping in mind the team's capacity, keeping in mind the velocity of the team, how are they able to proceed, dependency on several other teams if any, mitigation plans in place. So how do we pick and choose what we need to do sprint on sprint? That is basically what it is. Just because the team is able to deliver 200 points does not mean you say that, okay, everyone should start delivering 200 points worth of work. Not really. We need to really, have the proper open discussion along with the team and see what can we really take up this time. And if you take up a little less than what we have been delivering earlier for whatever reason, try that. It's all about optimizing the work you take and delivering the best possible value by the end of the sprint. That is what this particular principle talks about. Next one. The best architectures, requirements, and design emerge from self-organizing teams. This goes back to one of the principles which says trust your team, right? Guys, in Agile, self-organizing teams is one of the very important bits where you don't try to shepherd the team like a bunch of sheep, but you rather trust the team like a bunch of experts. I always tell my teams that you guys are the experts. You need to decide how you're going to solve for this problem. I think that is what you need to take to heart. Your team may be comprised of seniors and juniors or whatever, but they are one unit. They are one team and they are your team. You need to trust in them to be able to figure out what will be the best solution for this, because they are the ones who are doing the actual work. They are the ones writing those code. They are the ones testing that code. They are the ones designing that UI and UX. They know what they are doing. Empower them. Trust in them. Believe in them. Facilitate. Help them in places where they might fall short. But don't dominate them. So that is one of the very important things that I personally also prefer. Is one of my favorite principles as well. Self-organizing teams. Many times teams tend to just look up to management and just throw their hands up saying that, okay, we can't do it. And that is where you need to help the team understand that, no, you guys got it. You can do it. Come, let's have a discussion, let's have a brainstorming session and see how do we, fix this out. Solution is within them, it's within their minds. You as a Scrum Master need to help them see the solution within themselves. And that's not very easy, to be honest. All right, the last one. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. This is another really important principle. It directly talks about the sprint review and retrospective. Now, I will get into the depths of what those ceremonies are. But basically, this principle says that we don't start out saying that, all right, let's just do it. Let's start up with a POC. Let's see how that goes. We'll get feedback, we'll fine tune, and we'll run with that. No, not really. There is a method to this madness. There is an order within the chaos. What Agile says, at the end of every sprint, or as often as practical, come together as a team and see how things are going. Reflect upon it. How did the previous sprint go? What really worked in that? What didn't work in that? What should we start doing? What should we stop doing? What can we start doing differently? There are many different formats to do a retrospective, but the idea is constantly look back, learn and proceed. Then only you will not repeat the mistakes of the past. Making new mistakes is okay, you learn from it, but repeating mistakes means you're not learning from it, you're wasting time. So constantly go back, revisit and see how to get better from what you were when you started. So that, folks, takes care of the 12 principles of Agile. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm open to feedback. Let me know how things are going, what topics you would like me to cover in the future episodes. Links are all in the description of how you can reach me. And if you feel I can be better at something, also let me know. So with that, this is Shishir signing off. Thank you.